We meet tonight in an America that has lived through two of the hardest years this nation has ever faced.
अमेरिका ने
Pandemic has been punishing.
बहुत ही कठिन 2 साल देखे हैं, पैंडेमिक की वजह से, कोविड की वजह से,
struggling to keep up with the rising cost of food, gas, housing, and so much more. I understand, like many of you do,
हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था
my dad
ने
had to leave
बहुत
his home in
मुश्किलें
Scranton,
देखी हैं.
Pennsylvania, to find work. So, like many of you, I grew up in a family when the price of food went up. It was felt throughout the family. It had an impact.
मैंने आप लोगों की तरह अपने बचपन में देखा है जंग की कॉस्ट को.
Because people were hurting, we needed to act, and we did. Few pieces of legislation have done more at a critical moment in our history to lift us out of a crisis.
क्योंकि लोगों को इस अर्थव्यवस्था पर जो असर हो रहा था, उससे उन पर असर हो रहा था. हमें कुछ कदम लेने पड़े और उसका असर दिखा है.
Remember those long lines of cars waiting for hours just to get a box of food put in their trunk?
आपको याद होगा तो जो हम लंबे लाइन पे खड़े होते थे सिर्फ खाना पिक करने के लिए.
Unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top 1% of Americans, the American Rescue Plan helped working people and left no one behind. Folks, and it worked. It worked. It worked. We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America. The economy grew at a rate of 5.7 last year, the strongest growth rate in 40 years. And the first step in bringing fundamental change to our economy that hasn't worked for working people in this nation for too long. For the past 40 years, we were told the tax break for those at the top and benefits would trickle down and everyone would benefit. But that trickle-down theory led to a weaker economic growth, lower wages, bigger deficits, and a widening gap between the top and everyone else in nearly a century. Look, Vice President Harris and I ran for office, and I realized we
40% ऑफ टैक्स को जो इम्पैक्ट होता है वो दूसरे जो कमजोर स्ट्राटा में है वो ट्रिकल डाउन करेगा. वैसा हुआ नहीं.
Build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top
हमने
down.
फिर से अर्थव्यवस्था को खड़ी करने की कोशिश की और नीचे से बॉटम अप अप्रोच रखा.
Because we know when the middle class grows, the poor go way up and the wealthy do very well.
हमने जाना कि जब मिडिल क्लास ग्रो करता है तब जो उनसे तबके के लोग हैं वो भी ग्रो करते हैं.
Won't be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century if we don't fix it. That's why it was so important to pass the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I thank my Republican friends for joining to invest and rebuild America. The single biggest investment in history. It was a bipartisan effort, and I want to thank the members of both parties who worked to make it happen. We're done talking about infrastructure weeks. We're now talking about an infrastructure decade. And look,